Before Sword Art Online, before Log Horizon, before the virtual world genre truly came to be, there was Dot Hack. Project Dot Hack was a multimedia franchise, spanning anime, video games, novels, and manga, but for this video, I'll be focusing on the games, specifically the first series of games. Developed by CyberConnect 2 in the early 2000s, Dot Hack Infection was released as the first installment in the Dot Hack Quartet, a saga of 4 games that served as individual parts of one cohesive tale. These 4 volumes, Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine, told the story of a wildly popular MMORPG simply named The World, which becomes consumed by an enigmatic threat that places everyone playing the game in a terrifying amount of danger. The protagonist of the story is Kite, a new player who, while on a routine quest with his more experienced friend Orca, encounters what seems to be a high-level monster that simply shouldn't be there. After Orca is defeated and Kite escapes, he attempts to contact his friend in the real world, only to find that he has fallen into a coma. Armed with the same ability that took his friend from him, Data Drain, Kite investigates a trail of bugged monsters attributed to a dangerous virus in an effort to learn more. It soon becomes clear that Orca is far from the only victim, and it all links back to a sinister and tragic mystery within the world. That premise might sound fairly cookie-cutter these days, but at the time, it was strikingly unique, and a number of fans, including myself, found it enthralling. This was in no small part a result of the saga's dedication to giving said premise weight, by making it feel as fleshed out and connected to reality as possible. A huge strength of these games is that the setting isn't simple window dressing to the plot. The MMORPG itself is treated as though it's a real game, complete with its own lore and terminology. It goes to a number of lengths to present the world as a real MMORPG. NPCs will run around and chat as though they're actual online players. You can trade items with people for various useful rewards, and it keeps to the classic MMO system of a hub town acting as a safe zone, from which you can head out to go on quests and such. You can respond to messages sent by your friends, and you have to invite them to a party before you can actually team up. Upon heading out, you generate an area based upon a keyword system that utilized different combinations of 3 separate words that you could select from a list. And it's worth noting that this system lent itself to experimentation and exploration. You could happen upon an area with rare gear simply by entering in random combinations or utilizing keywords posted to the message boards. But easily my favorite aspect about all of this is the variety of different classes available for characters. These all feel like different weapon and magic based roles you would see in a real MMO, while bearing distinct features and designs that make them feel very unique to Dot Hack. Wave Masters are the collective spellcasters, capable of healing and damage-based spells. Heavy Blades are slow, heavy hitters, and Twin Blades represent the classic rogue, dealing rapid attacks for some high damage. That's only to name a few, but all of them felt very well realized as fully fleshed out roles in an online video game. Spells even had unique names like Repth, a standard cure, and Vakrom, a simple fire spell. You could glance at a character for the first time and immediately know what class they were using given their gear and appearance. Despite the unique aesthetic of the game's world, I think that the character designs are truly what made it so visually distinct and iconic. They're absolutely full of, well, character, and they serve to breathe a good deal of life into the setting as a whole. It's difficult to describe the serenity I feel when I reflect on these games, but I think that feeling is best conveyed through one area in particular. The cathedral located in the area named Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground. It's a pivotal area throughout the entire series purely for its atmosphere alone, and it's distinct among almost any other field in the game for its complete lack of enemies, treasure, or anything save for the cathedral itself. Within its walls stands the statue of a girl bound by chains, contrasting the otherwise heavenly interior with a striking impression of sorrow and loneliness. The cathedral is peaceful, sad, and hopeful all at once. It serves as a place for characters to ponder the mysteries of the game, and contemplate the deeper meanings behind it all. You can even visit this area to view some optional scenes involving characters from the anime, and I've always liked that feeling of uncovering the tale of those who came before. Anytime you visit this area, you're likely to find yourself swept up in the enchanting air it presents, consumed by the mystique of such a jarringly different area. Why was this place created? What purpose does it serve? What does it represent? It stands out for curious reasons that are largely left unexplained, and it makes such an impact that it will always linger in your mind while you play. It's this kind of atmospheric quality that elevates the entire series. There will forever be an enchanting beauty to these games for me. From the ominous epitaph of Twilight to the enigmatic girl in white, it was drenched in this thrilling sense of mystery and built a fascinating world that was equally foreboding. For how colourful the setting and character designs were, there was always a lingering sadness behind the story of Dot Hack, a gripping melancholy air that envelops everything about these games. The tale the Dot Hack Quartet tells is a pensive and introspective one that puts a certain emphasis on mystery and emotion. A clear example of this can be found in one of the most important characters in the series, the aforementioned girl in white, Aura. Aura has this deeply mythical presence that goes hand in hand with the mystery of who or what she is, and it's all cultivated by the rumours and stories you hear as you progress through the game. There are also a number of unsettling and sinister little touches that really serve to build a sense of dread throughout the games. The frequent static and glitches that occur when you traverse corrupted areas constantly remind the player that they aren't supposed to be there. The corruption levels on your character that build the more you use data drain result in a game over if you let them get too high. And even the title theme that welcomes you to the game is utterly chilling. Then there's the 8 phases, impossibly powerful programs that distort the very areas they visit merely by being there. They serve the whims of the threat behind the crisis, but, especially to begin with, their goals and motives are largely unfathomable. As for their designs, the 8 phases are all these disturbingly alien beings that just don't look quite right. The fact that their very appearances seem incomprehensible sends the impression that they simply shouldn't exist, that they are the visual definition of wrong. The forms they take within the game are nightmarish, and they each have this earth-shattering weight to their presentation, making every encounter with them feel intensely dire and oppressive. Perhaps the most terrifying thing about the phases, though, is that they even have the potential to affect the outside world. The aforementioned attention to detail makes the subtle horror of what is happening in this fictional online game feel that much more real. These unfortunate players falling into comas are people just like you, and given that they can't wake up, it's a fate no better than death. It might just be a game, but nobody is safe. The eerie pull of the story serves to amplify the stakes, and as a result, something as simple as a game over had this crushing gravity to it. Much of Dot Hack's tone is informed through its music. It's hard to describe the vocal themes of Dot Hack as anything less than angelic. Similarly, the instrumental tracks used for fields and dungeons are fantastically atmospheric, and they all seamlessly transition into chaotic variants whenever a battle is initiated. One of my favourite details about the music is the fact that each of the 8 phases makes use of bells in their respective themes. As far as I recall, this was strictly exclusive to them, and it made their presence that much more intimidating while making for some really unique pieces of music. However, the games weren't without their flaws. While the concept of entirely separate volumes allowed for a much larger story than most RPGs at the time, and more vast environments, this was probably the biggest reason for the series never really gaining the attention it should have. This approach was a, frankly, terrible marketing decision. It meant to experience the full story, fans had to buy 4 separate games, and if potential new fans discovered a volume that wasn't the first part, they likely wouldn't be interested. Why buy part 3 of a game you've never played? Aside from that, at least over here in the UK, the various volumes were incredibly rare. I can tell you that even today, the UK generally doesn't care much about JRPGs, so imagine how feeble the demand for these games must have been back then. At the same time, there was this sense of needing to collect every volume. The gripping story meant the cliffhangers and unresolved threads really served to draw fans into the subsequent entries. This is probably what the developers were banking on, the sort of collector nature of fans wanting to own the whole set. And while some certainly did, it just wasn't enough. Instead of breaking into the mainstream, Dot Hack built more of a cult following. Fortunately, this was enough to justify a sequel series and a number of various spin-offs, but it never managed to keep the series alive in the end. Nowadays, Dot Hack is little more than a memory. Following an erratic decline in quality after the GU games, the series effectively faded into obscurity, and one can't help but wonder how different things might have been had the franchise simply made more of an impact. While the GU series did receive a remaster almost 3 years ago, there's been nothing since, and no solid news that Dot Hack will continue. It's a series that truly deserved more, and genuinely had the potential to stand alongside the popular JRPGs that would come after. But no matter what, Dot Hack is remembered by its fans for telling a unique, engaging, and emotional story that conveyed an enchanting sense of depth and intrigue in such an effective way that was distinctly rare for games at the time. Regardless of its relevance these days, the fact remains that the series left a powerful, lasting impression, with its immersive representation of a virtual world hiding a dark mystery. I see so much potential in the sheer variety the setting lent itself to, and the vastly unique atmosphere that was equal parts haunting and beautiful. These games were, and still are, simply unlike any other, and the tale they told is something that resonated with a great many fans. All of these elements came together to make Dot Hack something truly special, something remarkably different, and something that will stay with me forever. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe or just let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you'd like to support my channel, you can either subscribe to my Patreon or donate directly via PayPal. Links can be found in the description below. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time.